Right, there we go. Fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Just like to introduce you to my new do's and don'ts series, and today we're going to be talking about creatine. Now, to be honest, despite the vast amounts of research that's been done on this particular supplement, I actually get quite a lot of questions in regards to creatine, either how much creatine I should be taking, when should I be taking creatine, what brand or what kind of creatine should I take. And it really does baffle me that, you know, despite creatine being the only supplement that's been scientifically proven to work, people are still troubled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down, you know, the do's and don'ts of creatine, starting with do number one. So when you're actually getting creatine, the best thing to do when looking for a creatine is to look for the creatine monohydrate. Creatine monohydrate is probably the only creatine supplement out there that's been proven to work. You know, I know there are a lot of other products such as, you know, creatine ethyl ester, CREAPINE, and, you know, so forth and so on. But creatine monohydrate is the only one that has been proven to work. It doesn't matter what brand of creatine you're taking, just make sure it's creatine monohydrate, and also make sure that it is 100% HLPC pure. Now, don't number one. Do not buy a creatine supplement just based off what the actual tub looks like. That's probably the worst thing you could ever do in regards to any supplement, if I'm being honest with you. Just because a supplement company has a flashy, you know, labeling doesn't mean it's always going to work very well. Okay? Do number two.
Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Now, when getting creatine, it is probably best that you take it with some kind of, you know, juice, you know, or squash. You know, best thing I've seen is to take it with, you know, apple juice or something like that. You can take it with water as well, that's fine, but I just don't like weeing a lot, and that's the only reason why I don't take it with water. If I have water on me, then I'm going to take it with water, and there's nothing I can do about that. And yeah. So take it with any kind of juice that's really gonna, you know, send the creatine right to the muscle. So you want something that's got a lot of natural sugars in it. So that's probably my best advice to give to you. Now, don't number two. Do not load your creatine. I see tons and tons and tons of people who tell you that you should load your creatine. Right, look. If a creatine supplement is good and it's high quality, then you do not need to load it. The only ones that you need to load on are the ones that are poor quality and, for the most part, is not giving you the amount of creatine you need per scoop. So, per se, this creatine product is 5 grams per scoop. That's all I need. Take 2 of those a day. Now, the ones that will tell you that you need to load creatine for, you know, X amount of days, they're the ones that are actually 2 grams of creatine per scoop. And it really does baffle me when I see people, you know, telling others that they should load with creatine. Like, guys, seriously, it doesn't matter. You don't have to load with creatine. Load with creatine if you want, it's really not going to make any difference. So that's don't number 2. Do number 3, drink your water. And I'm not just talking about, you know, 1 to 2 glasses of water. I'm talking about, you know, a gallon to a gallon and a quarter of water per day, especially if you are on creatine. I cannot stress how much people have come to me saying they've taken creatine and it hasn't worked for them. Well, reason being is because they have not drank enough water. The way creatine works is that it sends water into the muscles, giving you more energy so you can do more reps, perform more sets, and lift more weight. So do number 3, drink your water. Don't number 3. Under any circumstances, do you snort it? Oh, man. The amount of memes, the amount of, internet trolls who I've seen on the internet saying that, the best way to get it into your system is through snorting it. Like, for any new guys out there, I'm not saying you are this, naive, but, just don't do it. Do not snort it under any circumstances. Right. Okay. Another thing I would advise against is do not get flavored creatine. And to add to that, do not get flavored creatine and then drink that after your workout, and then 2 minutes later drink your protein shake. No. I believe the Hodgkins did a video on how they did the exact same thing as what I explained, and they chunned it all over the place. And I can vouch for them. Yep, it's happened to me before. So if you're gonna take creatine, it's best off to get the unflavored version and just either mix it in your protein shake, or what I usually do is just take a spoonful, put it in my mouth, and then drink my protein shake. So well, I'm not saying don't do it, but I'd advise against it. Don't get the flavored creatine powders, and drink both that and your protein shake, because you're just going to end up feeling terribly unwell. Another thing I would advise against is do not bother with the most expensive creatine. Now, what I mean by that is that creatine monohydrate is dirt cheap. So especially creatine monohydrate is dirt cheap. You can get at least a 3-month supply for about, on the internet anyway, for about 15 quid. It's cheap. And you get a lot of brands that advertise, there are big brands, so at the end of the day, it's business at the end of the day. But don't, just because one's more expensive, don't be under the assumption that you should get that one because it's the most expensive and it's the biggest name. Just don't do that. If you have the money to spend, then yeah, definitely go, get those expensive ones. But for the most part, if, like me, you're a student and you ain't got much money to work with, then go for the cheap ones. As I said before, you just want to make sure they are CREAPURE or 100% HPLC. And I think that's about it, really. It's a very, very short video. Anywho, I'm going to try and get these videos to be, a lot more consistent. I've been quite busy recently, and I've also been ill. So, if you want a video doing on a specific topic, or, regards to training, nutrition, and all that, just drop me a message on my Instagram. It should be on the screen somewhere around here. And I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and depending on how many questions I get, I'll probably do a video on it. So yep, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it around. Laters.